What's the worst planet to live on in the entire universe? To answer this question, I spent weeks obsessing over space, researching the most crazy, unusual, and bizarre planets ever discovered. And today, we're going to rank them from bad but survivable to absolute nightmare. I will give each planet a score based on 3 categories. First, how difficult is it to get necessities, like food, water, oxygen? Second, how hard is it to build a shelter there? And lastly, how difficult is it to generate electricity on the planet? What if I told you that there is actually a better planet than Earth, which has aliens living on it right now? This is Kepler 186f. This is Earth. Notice anything? Apart from the colors, they look nearly identical, giving Kepler the nickname Earth 2.0. But don't pack your bags just yet, because they couldn't be more different. Even with the fastest spaceship ever created, it would take millions of years just to travel the 55.7 light-years distance. But for this video, you will have the ability to teleport to each of the planets in our list. So let's get started. Your first objective: figure out how to breathe. Luckily for you, Kepler has a very oxygen-rich atmosphere, but this has one major flaw: the toxic chemicals in the air will instantly kill you. So, how do you breathe here? Well, it's simple. How would you separate Lego bricks from sand? By filtering it, right? The same principle applies. You would need to build an air purifier which runs all day long, but this has its own downside. How will you power it? Before we get to that, you need some food. To grow food, you need water. Fortunately for you, this planet has plenty of it. The only issue, we don't know what could be inside the water. For all we know, the water could be filled with alien parasites that can take over you, turning you into a zombie, just like this ant parasite, which turns its host into a brainless zombie. That's why you need to properly purify the water, making sure you kill any harmful alien life. But how do you grow food on an alien planet that isn't contaminated with alien parasites? Your best bet would be by a process called hydroponics. The good thing about hydroponics is that the roots of plants are suspended in the air, meaning you spray water and minerals directly to the roots. This takes less water compared to normal farming and doesn't contaminate food. That's it, right? Wrong. Kepler's weather is unpredictable. One moment, it's a cool 13 Celsius, the next it's raining minus 400 degrees Celsius water. So the next step to survive here will be building a nice shelter. But your shelter has to meet 2 requirements. First, if you don't want to stay in your suit all day long, then you must somehow make it airtight so you can breathe freely in your shelter. Next, make your shelter secure enough to handle the rapid temperature change and protect you against the dangerous UV rays from the sun. The cool thing about Kepler is that scientists believe alien life like plants could have evolved here, but will be nothing like Earth's. Picture this. You're walking through a forest, but instead of green trees, everything's a deep, glowing red. The trees have strange shapes and colors you've never seen before. That's basically what Kepler would look like, all thanks to the red light from its sun. Speaking of the sun, the best way to generate power for all your machinery will be using solar panels. But unfortunately, Kepler's sun is much dimmer than Earth's, meaning it would take you ages just to generate some electricity. To solve this, you will have to make your solar panels hundreds of times stronger and bigger than normal. I would rate this planet a 5 out of 10. If you've ever had the wild idea of visiting a burning world made of molten rock with no signs of life, a place people literally call hell, then you're in luck because I'm about to tell you exactly how to survive on one. This is Venus, also dubbed as Earth's evil twin. Imagine you weigh 70 kilograms on Earth, then on Venus you would weigh a whopping 7,000 kilograms. Not to mention, the air around will be more than 100 degrees. Good luck walking around with that weight. Therefore, you would need a spaceship and suit that can handle all of this to have a real shot at surviving. You might think I will just tell you to stay in your spaceship for the rest of your life, but that's boring, so I'm going to tell you how to not just survive, but also live on Venus. But hold on, I just told you the temperature was more than 100 degrees, so how are you supposed to live on Venus? Before we talk about this, there is a bigger problem to solve. Unless you're a plant, then you need to figure out how to breathe here. To breathe, you need water. Trust me, it will all make sense soon. Venus is scorching hot, which means any water on its surface would instantly evaporate, meaning the only water you can get won't be from Venus, but outside of Venus, like on asteroids that fly past. You just need a machine that can mine and transport the water to you. Now that we have that figured out, you will use this water to breathe on Venus. But wait, how do you breathe water? For this to make sense, you need to understand the concept of electrolysis. Imagine you have 2 Lego bricks, and then you use a hammer to break them apart. The same concept applies to water. Electricity splits water into hydrogen and oxygen. This is a simplified version of electrolysis, but you get the point. This still begs the question, how would you survive the extreme temperatures? Your best bet would be to live underground, away from the surface of Venus, where, hopefully, the temperature is more manageable. But that's not all. You would also need massive cooling systems so you don't burn to a crisp. But there's another problem. Those coolers don't run on air. They need power. Solar panels won't cut it. Venus's thick atmosphere blocks most sunlight. So the real question is, how do we generate enough electricity to power everything? There's something I haven't told you about Venus. Venus isn't just toxic, molten rock. It also has insanely powerful winds, and that changes everything. Those winds are perfect for massive wind turbines, capable of generating energy for centuries. But there's a catch. The turbines would need to survive extreme heat, violent winds, and constant acid rain. Yes, it literally rains acid on Venus. I would rate this planet a 3 out of 10. Surviving on Venus is one thing, but what about surviving on one of the largest planets ever discovered? A planet so big, it's larger than our entire solar system. This is J1407b. Its most extreme feature is a ring system nearly 200 million kilometers wide. That's bigger than our entire solar system. Because of that, it's been dubbed Super Saturn. So the real question is, how would we survive on a planet like this? The worst part about this planet? It has no solid surface, meaning we can't build anything. Don't worry, I have a solution. But first, we need power, and a lot of it. The first method is risky, but effective. We harness the planet's massive storms. Sounds simple, until you realize each lightning strike is the size of Asia, and that's before we even ask, how do you store that much energy safely? The second method is to use nuclear fusion from the hydrogen present in the atmosphere. You might be asking, what is nuclear fusion? Well, imagine the hydrogen atoms as Lego bricks. When you combine 2 bricks, you get helium, and this process releases a ton of energy. But to store energy, and stuff in general, you need a shelter where you can live. But I just told you there is no solid surface on J1407b, so how does that work? The most logical plan would be to build sky cities, massive, airtight domes floating in the planet's atmosphere. These domes would purify oxygen from the planet's air and pump it up into the cities, where humans could live, grow food, and survive. Some of the energy we generate would power these oxygen purification systems. The rest could be used to power mining machines, harvesting ice from the massive rings of Super Saturn.